Hello friendos, it's Bella from the Bookish Badger, and today I'm coming at you guys with the page 112 tag. So I was tagged to do this ages ago, I think back in February or something like that, by Serenity Dawn over at The Story, one of my absolute faves. Thank you so much, Serenity, for tagging me to do this. And for those of you who don't know, the page 112 tag is based off of this literary prize in France that is based entirely off of the merit of the 112th page of a book, of whatever book they decide to give this award to. And so the tag version of it is that I will read page 112 from 3 books. You guys are not going to know what books they are or what authors they are by, and you guys get to decide in the comments which one of these 3 books is going to be my next read. So I've got my 3 books here. They are all classic books. I will give you guys that hint that they are 3 classics. And I read the page 112s of each of these before doing this, and they all have the odd follow through of there's either a lot of like death and or violence going on the 112th page. So that's kind of odd. I don't know how that happened, but it is so. Anyway, let's get right into it. I will now read page 112 from book A. Let's call this book A. Oh, and before I get into this, I do want to say that any specific names or places that could give away what book it is, I'm going to replace with either the word blank, or I'm gonna make up a really stupid name, or I'm just gonna change it to a pronoun, because I don't want you guys to figure out what books I'm doing by what the names are. Okay, so now, with that disclaimer, I am going to begin. In London, people are so prejudiced. Here, one should never make one's debut with a scandal. One should reserve that to give an interest to one's old age. I suppose they don't know your name at the theatre? If they don't, it is all right. Did anyone see you going round to her room? That is an important point. He did not know the answer for a few moments. He was dazed with horror. Finally, he stammered in a stifled voice, "Did you say an inquest? What did you mean by that? Did she... Oh, I can't bear it, but be quick, tell me everything at once." "I have no doubt it was not an accident, sir, though it must be put that way in the public. It seems that she was leaving the theatre with her mother about 12:30 or so. She said she had forgotten something upstairs. They waited some time for her, but she did not come down again. They ultimately found her lying dead on the floor of her dressing room. She had swallowed something by mistake, some dreadful thing they use at theatres. I don't know what it was, but it had either prussic acid or white lead in it. I should fancy it was prussic acid, as she seemed to have died instantaneously." "Oh, sir, it is horrible!" cried the lad. "Yes, very tragic, of course, but you must not get yourself mixed up in it. I see by the standard that she was 17. I should have thought she was almost younger than that. She looked such a child and seemed to know so little about acting. You mustn't let this thing get on your nerves. You must come and dine with me, and afterwards we will look in at the opera. It is a Patty night, and everyone will be there. You can come to my sister's box. She's got some smart women with her." "So, I have murdered her," said he, half to himself. "Murdered her as surely as if I had cut her little throat with my knife. Yet the roses are not less lovely for all that. The birds sing just as happily in my garden, and tonight I am to dine with you, and then go to the opera and supper somewhere, I suppose, afterwards. How extraordinarily dramatic life is. If I had read all this in a book, sir, I think I would have wept over it. Somehow, now that it has happened in actuality, and to me, it seems far too wonderful for tears even. Here is..." That's where it ends. Dramatic stuff going on. Okay, so now for what we will call book B. Another thing to mention is that the print was really close on that book, and the print is very far away in the second book, so this page 112 is going to be a lot shorter than that page 112. I'm also going to be substituting a lot of names for this one because there are a lot of names said on this page, which is quite irksome. Anyway, I should say we were all worried. The doctor waved an impatient hand. Of course, I don't mean it that way. I'm thinking of old Micawber. What about him, sir? Dr. Armenshaw said grimly. What we're looking for is a madman. What price, Micawber? Blair said incredulously. You mean he's homicidal? Armenshaw said doubtfully. I shouldn't have said so, not for a minute. But, of course, I'm not a specialist in mental diseases. I haven't really had any conversation with him. I haven't studied him from that point of view. Blair said doubtfully. Yes, but I would have said... Armenshaw cut in with a slight effort, as of a man who pulls himself together. You're probably right. Damn it all, there must be someone hiding on the island. Ah, here comes Lombardi. They fastened the rope carefully. Lombardi said, I'll help myself all I can. Keep a lookout for a sudden strain on the rope. After a minute or two, while they stood together watching Lombardi's project, Blair says, Climbs like a cat, doesn't he? There was something odd in his voice. Dr. Armenshaw said, I should think he must have done some mountaineering in his time. And that's all there is of that. And now for book number C, again, a whole lot of name changes. Harrison may flog you sick for daring to think an evil thought of me. It did not need the medium of a flogging to produce that effect on the master. He tried to wrest the key from Caroline's grasp, and for safety, she flung it into the hottest part of the fire, whereupon Mr. Edgerson was taken with a nervous trembling, and his whole countenance grew deadly pale. For his life he could not avert that excess of emotion. Mingled anguish and humiliation overcame him completely. He leant on the back of a chair and covered his face. "Oh, heavens! In old days this would win you knighthood!" exclaimed Mrs. Liston. "We are vanquished! We are vanquished! Harrison would as soon lift a finger at you as would the king march his army against a colony of mice. Cheer up, you shan't be hurt. Your type is not a lamb, it's a sucking leveret." "I wish you the joy of the milk-blooded coward, Caroline," said her friend. "I compliment you on your taste, and that is the slavering, shivering thing you preferred to me. I would not strike him with my fist, but I'd kick him with my foot and experience a considerable amount of satisfaction. Is he weeping, or is he going to faint for fear?" The fellow approached and gave the chair on which Liston rested a push. He'd better have kept his distance. My master quickly sprang erect and struck him full on the throat, a blow that would have leveled a slighter man. It took his breath away for a minute, and while he choked, Mr. Liston walked out the back door into the yard, and from thence to the front entrance. "There, you've done with coming here," cried Caroline. "Get away now. He'll return with a brace of pistols and half a dozen assistants. If he did overhear us, of course he'd never forgive you. You've played me an ill turn, Harrison. But go, make haste. I'd rather see Edgerson at bay than you." "Do you suppose I'm going with that blow burning in my gullet?" he thundered. "By hell, no, I'll crush his ribs in like a rotten hazelnut before I cross the threshold. If I don't floor him now, I shall murder him in some time, so, as you value his existence, let me get at him." And that's the end of that one. So I leave it up to you, my friendos, which book you like best. If you would like to vote down in the comments below whether you like book A, B, or C the best. As for revealing the pick, I will do that either in, I was considering vlogging my experience of whichever book you guys pick, my reading experience of how I'm liking it and all that, or I'll just low-key announce it in whatever my next video is. Let me know which one you guys would rather see down in the comments below along with your vote. So as for tagging, I am going to be tagging my future self because I am not waiting to be tagged by somebody else to do this tag because I really love this tag and it's one of those that can be done multiple times. So I'll be tagging my future self. I will be tagging Margaret from Margaret the Word Nerd, and I will be tagging Lori Dawson. I would love to hear from you guys, not only whether you picked book A, B, or C, and whether or not you want me to vlog my reading experience with whichever one the winner is, but also I would love to hear what you thought of this video, what you think of this tag, what you thought of the rest of the page 112s, if you have any guesses as to what the books may be, knowing what pages I read and knowing that they are classics. If you want to read any of these books based on the pages that I read, any of it, all of it, please leave it in a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, do not hesitate to give it a thumbs up. Do not hesitate to subscribe for more content coming soon, and I will see you in the next video. Bookish Badger, signing off.